both long distance. In the beginning, it was 35 cents a minute to make a call, and then it came down to 3 pennies. Well, the margins fell out of that. The company ended up folding. So I closed that business down in December of 2000. It was very, very difficult to do. I had a large team, but I no longer felt like it was a viable opportunity, and shortly thereafter, that company did fold. So in December of 2000, I told my husband, Dave, you know what, I'm going to chill out. We're going to enjoy Christmas together. This is the 1st of December. And then in January, you know what, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out. 2 days after that conversation, I get a phone call from a gentleman that was in that company and another team, but we were friends, who was getting ready to go on a project to Israel. He was going to be gone for many, many months. But he had overheard a conversation about a product that helped tone, tighten, and firm in 45 minutes that a team of doctors and scientists had developed 12 years prior. See, the product had been out in the marketplace in Europe and throughout Mexico. And you would go into a Medi-Spa, any massage therapist in the room. But you would go into a Medi-Spa, and at $300 a treatment, you would have this product, this formula, deep tissue massaged into the body. And then you would have the results that you're getting today. They decided to bring this product into the U.S., but they didn't have the manpower, and they did not have the funding to come over and teach massage therapists in Medi-Spas. So what they did was ingenious. See, they were a pharmaceutical company with a cosmeceutical and a nutraceutical division. So the cosmeceutical side had the formula. So they went to the pharmaceutical side and they said, you know those patches, those little estrogen patches, those little smoker patches? Well, we need one about this big. They thought, wow, the women in America have estrogen issues. You need a patch that big. And what are y'all smoking over there? So they went to the patch manufacturer and they engineered and designed the patch that you see today. And I think it's just ingenious what they did. They said, okay, we need to put this formula on this cloth. And then we need to fold it up just right so when we unfold it, the formula is spread out on one side. Then we need to put it in a bag. We want it to be as natural as possible and keep it on the shelf if needed. Not today. But there was a time when it sat on that shelf in the very, very beginning. And we needed to be able to have a lifespan of 1 year. And they developed that. So when I got the phone call, I was going through a lovely phase in life called menopause. Anybody there with me that wants to admit? Weird things happen to the body, don't they? All of a sudden, the back fat fairy shows up one night and injects your back with fat. You don't know where it comes from. The back side of you just starts to grow. My husband and my daughter actually had a conversation about it. And I went from where I am today to a size 18. And I'd never been that size prior to being pregnant. And it's a very depressing time. And you can't quite get it under control. You really don't understand what's going on. And at that time, hormone therapy was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. So anyway, when he called and told me about this formula, I'm like, I want it. I want it. I want it for me. If I could put it anywhere, if I could put it on that back fat, if I could put it on that butt, if I could put it on the thighs, if I could put it on my stomach, if I could put it on my neck, if I could put it on my arm, can I put it on my knees? Where can I put this formula? And I started asking all these questions. Do you bathe in it? Do you roll in it? Do you shower in it? Do you heat it up? Do you need it to be cold? What is it? And he's like, oh my God, I don't know. I just overheard a conversation. So, can you tell I'm from the South? Anybody else from the South in the room? So we're going to get along tonight, right? So I'm from the South, and I get on the phone. I said, I got to talk to him. I got to to talk to him. I want this. And I'm talking to Luis Maharis. Anybody met Luis? Who's met Luis? Well, Luis is from Spain. So his accent's a little thick. And then one of the lead doctors is from Mexico. And I barely could understand anything he was saying. So the three of us are having a conversation. And I'm being from the South, they could hardly understand anything I was saying. But we got through to each other, and what I understood from them is they were serious, and they had a formula that actually worked, that no one else had. So we agreed to meet in Texas. They flew over, I flew down, and for 3 days, I sat with them, and they would show me a box of a product that had 3 cloths in it. Just 3. See, they made this product just to show me. And in that box, on the cover of that box, everything was written in Spanish. And I didn't take Spanish in school. So I really didn't know what it said. And they hadn't named it. They didn't know what to call it. And so for 3 days, they'd hand me the box and take it back. Hand me the box and take it back. They just didn't want me to have the box yet. They didn't know if they could trust me. They didn't know if we could have, a mutual business together. But after 3 days, it happened. And I walked away with 1 box of product without a name and a cell phone about as big as this microphone. And I was late for my flight, so I'm running to my flight and I'm calling my girlfriends and I said, oh my God, I got a box. And I'm going to be a size 2 by the end of this box. Now, I don't know where that comes from, but a lot of you believe the same thing, didn't you? Yes. So I came home, I invited my girlfriend Patty over. I said, Patty, you got to come, you got to support me. Dave is still shaking his head, wondering what the heck is she thinking. My daughter was there, my son was there. I stood in the kitchen, I put it on my stomach. They said, that's your problem area. I don't know how they realized that, but they said, that's your problem area, but let's put it there. We're going to do something called detox. And I'd never heard of detox. Now we're looking at, this is 2000, December of 2000. And the only herb that I knew about back then was marijuana. See, I'm a product of the 70s. Anybody else a product of the 70s?
Hey, you could be an 80s baby too. You don't have to be 70s.
Boy, you just keep making her. I love her. I'm so glad. We're girlfriends, aren't we? We're sisters, yes. So, I didn't understand the herbs in it, and when Luis says herbs, it sounds like herbals, it sounds like he's saying gerbils, and I'm thinking, are there gerbils in it? What's in it? So anyway, I found out later. I didn't care. I honestly didn't care. I just wanted it to work. So we're sitting in my kitchen, my girlfriend Patty is there, and she kept saying, give me one, give me one. And they said something about you need to be positive. You need to think positive. And she kept saying, I'm more positive than you about this. Let me try it. I said, no, there's 3 in there. 3 in there. I'm still a little skeptical. But I saw pictures. I saw before and after pictures, and I actually talked to them. And they believed everything that they were saying to me. They showed me some of the science behind it. So I put it on my stomach, and I stood there like this for 45 minutes and did not move. And we kept looking at the floor, waiting for the fat to fall off. We didn't know what to expect. You know how it gets hot and then it's cold, and it gets hot, and I go, woo, 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 like this the whole time, like, oh, it's hot, and then like it's cold, and Patty's going, give me one, please. So guess what happened that day? Not much. I'm still an 18. My husband just gets up and walks out of the room. My son still didn't understand what was going on. My daughter was like, yeah, it'll work, Mom, it'll work. And Patty's going, give me one, give me one. So I followed the rules. I'm supposed to wait 72 hours. Isn't that what we were told? 72 hours. So I waited 72 hours. Now, it's an excruciating 72 hours. I mean, I didn't do much of anything. I sat around and was praying that the second one would work. So I put the second one on. Now I'm going for it. I'm going to wear this thing all day. So I wore it for 6 hours. I did some jumping jacks and some vacuuming. My husband said, well, at least she's doing something. She's vacuuming. Nothing really happened that day. My stomach looked a little bit better. I had a C-section from my son, so that was starting to look more normal, like skin. But nothing really happened. And so I went to bed that night, and I was disappointed. I had one left. One left. So I woke up the next morning, 6:30, the alarm clock went off to get the kids off to school. And I jumped up, and I literally stopped. And I turned, and I looked down, and I thought I'd left fat in the bed. I felt skinny. I felt thinner. I felt on top of the world. And I started calling my girlfriends at 6:30 in the morning, and I said, oh my God, you won't believe this. The 18s, I'll never wear them again. And they're like, where'd it go? I said, I don't care. I just hope I never find it again. I don't know where it went. I don't know how it works. I just know it did. And I know how I felt. And I felt great. You go to the bathroom, you feel amazing, don't you, when you use the product? Your skin starts to look better. So I called back down. I said, I need 500 more boxes. I need $499 for me and one for my girlfriend, Patty. So they sent me 500, and I'm like giving them out. Like, try it, try it, try it. And people started calling, it's working, it's working, it's working. So I knew I was on to something. I needed a partner. See, this is my gift, being out in the field. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the recruiter, the first recruiter ever in the company. Who's the first recruiter here?
We all are.
Who's going to take over the whole state? Think about it. And then all the other states. It started with one, and then Mark and Cindy, they lived in Michigan, and I knew Mark from my prior company. And you know what I loved about Mark? They went to the leadership team of that company, and they knew they were going under. They knew things were looking poorly. And they said, we will pay you extra money each month. You'll go around the country like Mike and I are, and you'll say everything is okay. They were the only people that said no. We won't do it. They lost their distributorship, and it was over. That's integrity. So Mark and Cindy flew down from Michigan to Virginia. That's where they lived. And I lived in Virginia. They tried the product that night. They both had success. Cindy called her girlfriend, and she said, don't come back to Michigan without it. The next thing she knows, the phone's ringing again. Another friend, I just heard, and then she says, well, my daughter wants it too. Mark's not getting it at all, other than his wife is excited. He said, all right, let's do this thing. Let's get this thing started. So in January of 2001, we named the company It Works, because everyone says, if this works, if it really works, and it does, or we would have named it, It Doesn't Work. We named the product the Ultimate Body Applicator. And we built out more in product in sales in May of this year than we did our first 5 years. Almost everybody I recruited quit. Almost every single person. It's so lovely to call them back now. Do you know that we have people that quit that have someone like Rusty Lackey in their organization? Melody? Carla? Isn't that awesome? So right now, for me, being in this business for 11 years, going out and talking to teams like this, it's a miracle. And you will have the same experience. So let's go to the first slide. Welcome to It Works. Thank you all so much for being here. You're going to hear tonight about naturally based products that work, why it's the right time for It Works, ways to earn. Anybody interested in that? All the ways to earn. Any guests in the room? Wonderful to have you here. Let's give the guests a hand. Thank you.